My name is Elizabeth Shook, and I am the Wellness and Recovery Manager at the Behavioral Healthcare Division at Arlington County. On behalf of the Behavioral Healthcare Division and the Department of Human Services, I would like to welcome you all to this very special program as we celebrate National Recovery Month. Due to COVID-19, unfortunately, we are not able to meet in person again, but we hope that this virtual version of our recovery event will bring you as much hope and inspiration as prior live events. First, I'd like to thank a few individuals for their continued support of recovery. ANITA FRIEDMAN, who is the Director of the Department of Human Services, Deborah Warren, who is the Deputy Director of the Department of Human Services and the Executive Director of the Community Services Board, Ali Russell, who is the Behavioral Healthcare Assistant Division Director, the Community Services Board, and the Arlington County Board. I thank you all for your support. Next, I'd like to invite our Director of Human Services, ANITA FRIEDMAN, to say a few words.
Good evening. I'm ANITA FRIEDMAN, the Director of Arlington County's Department of Human Services, and I'm here to welcome you to our annual recovery celebration in honor of the National Recovery Month. This is our 8th year of doing this event, and it's one of the favorite events for me because we get to hear the personal, intimate stories and journeys of people who are receiving our services and are in their recovery journey. It's not just the 8th year, but it's a second year that we are doing this virtually. In past times, we've had a cozy celebration together at Busboys and Poets with their nice stage and delicious food. Tonight, we have to do this through a virtual means, but you'll be able to watch and enjoy from the comfort of your own living place. Let me say that this celebration is unique because in a year in which we have all suffered greatly from the pandemic and our inability to connect in meaningful, close ways, this is an example in which we can use technology to connect our experiences virtually. And you will hear tonight stories from people who are incarcerated currently or have been in programs that we have through our Department of Human Services for many years. But each of them will share with you that recovery is not a linear process. Recovery is a journey in which we come through ebbs and flows of personal experiences and personal strategies to overcome some very difficult issues related to mental health illness and substance use disorder. So I hope you enjoy the show tonight. I also want to take a moment to thank our fearless recovery manager, Elizabeth Shook, who has organized this event every one of the 8 years in which we've been together. And you'll be hearing from her shortly. I would also like to take this opportunity to welcome our next guest, Matt DeFerranti. Matt DeFerranti is the current chair of the Arlington County Board. He was elected in 2018 and became chair in 2021. And all of you who know him will, I'm sure, agree with me that he is a tremendous advocate for our Department of Human Services and for the people who we serve, especially those who are in this journey of recovery from mental health illness and substance use disorder. So please join me in welcoming Matt DeFerranti.
On behalf of my colleagues on the County Board, thank you for attending this important event as we celebrate National Recovery Month. There are millions of Americans whose lives have been transformed through recovery. Since these successes often go unnoticed by the broader population, Recovery Month provides a chance for everyone to celebrate these accomplishments. Recovery Month highlights inspiring stories that help people from all walks of life find the path to hope, health, and wellness. Arlington's annual National Recovery Month event is very important as it seeks to increase awareness and understanding of mental health and substance abuse disorders and celebrate the individuals living in recovery in our community. Recovery for all people with mental health and substance abuse disorders is a priority as well as a goal for our Arlington County residents. Tonight, through stories, you will witness hope that comes in the midst of challenges. We thank the DHS Behavioral Health Care Division and all those who helped make this happen tonight, especially the participants who are courageously sharing their stories of hope and recovery. Thank you again for attending this very important event.
Thank you, Mr. DeFerranti. It is wonderful to have representation from the County Board at this important event. The Behavioral Health Care Division at Arlington County provides comprehensive mental health and substance use services to adult residents of Arlington County, including case management, therapy, emergency and psychiatric services, and much more. You will hear references to some of our programs this evening, but more information can be found on our website. When we speak of recovery in terms of mental health and addiction, we often hear different meanings, and we know that recovery is different for everyone, as we are all on our own journey. We also know it's not a linear process. The definition widely accepted comes from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, or SAMHSA, and it states that recovery is a process of change through which individuals improve their health and wellness, live a self-directed life, and strive to reach their full potential. I think that is what many of us are striving for, reaching our full potential. Those of us who deal with mental health and addiction issues are no different from those without in terms of what we want out of life. Each year, Recovery Month invites individuals in recovery to share their personal stories and successes in order to encourage others. This can help break down the barriers that have led to much stigma and discrimination for far too many years. Tonight is an attempt to diminish this and to see people as the individuals they are and not their diagnoses. I do want to make the disclaimer that some of the things you will hear this evening are difficult to hear, but these are people's stories of recovery, and sharing their truth is what makes this so important. Tonight, we will hear from individuals who will be sharing their stories that pertain to mental health, addiction, and trauma. We have some amazing people who are courageous enough to speak out about their recovery in order to help educate the community, as well as for the people to see that there is hope and understand that their recovery is definitely possible. To start us off this evening, we will hear from Judy, who will share what she has titled Wellness Crises Recovery.
My name is Judy. I'm going to share my recovery history and a personal crisis. I will describe my pandemic experience and new ways to manage my recovery. My mental health symptoms began at age 19. Over the years, my diagnoses have changed. Mental health disorders cannot be cured. Only the symptoms can be managed. In my case, this included medication, therapy, hospitalizations, and ECT. Recovery is not a straight line, and relapses occur. In 2011, I started receiving services from Arlington's Behavioral Health Division. There, I can receive all my treatment needs in one place. My mental health symptoms have been relatively stable. All the support I get helps me be more resilient. Basically, that's my ability to bounce back from difficulties. I recover from setbacks with appropriate treatments. One recent setback was the crisis I experienced when my car was totaled. I needed a lot of help to bounce back from it. You've had an accident or know somebody who has. There's a common process that unfolds. Everyone handles the experience differently. For me, each step and decision caused more and more anxiety and depression. A new 2-ounce problem felt like 20 pounds on top of all that accumulated to that point. I experienced extreme anxiety, helplessness, and confusion. My sleep was disrupted, and I paid little attention to self-care. My symptoms added up to acute stress disorder, a level just below PTSD. I needed more therapy and extra anxiety medicine. The last thing I needed was people saying, "You were doing so well, just get over it." That was not helpful. They didn't understand the nature of recovery. It took me 4 to 5 months to recover my mental health to the level it was before the accident. 1 year later, COVID hit. We are all experiencing and responding to the pandemic differently. For me, maintaining my mental health is more challenging. My sense of purpose has waned. My only work is my part-time cat sitting business. My feline therapy ended abruptly when my clients stopped traveling. I became more isolated than I already am. Fortunately, my brother initiated daily FaceTime calls. I found a new purpose when I learned about the governor's call for additional volunteers to meet the COVID-19 health care demands. The Medical Reserve Corps began recruiting volunteers. I joined in April 2020. My first assignment was at a testing event in May last year. I worked at 4 more testing events. Next, I volunteered for vaccination clinics at the beginning of this year. I worked nearly 140 volunteer hours altogether. I benefited from helping the community and regained a sense of purpose. My social skills improved because I chatted with fellow volunteers and people waiting in line. I had a schedule and it got me out of the house. Fewer volunteers are needed now, but fortunately, cat sitting has resumed. Once spring arrived, I started working in my community garden again. These are both very therapeutic and rewarding for me. In May 2020, I joined the Healthy Living program offered by Arlington BHD. It offers a variety of health and wellness opportunities for people in recovery. Due to the pandemic, they were switching to virtual offerings. The opportunities are coaching, movement, nutrition education, tobacco cessation, wellness workshops, and mindfulness. I've worked on some of these areas on my own and in therapy. This is different. We focus on our whole selves and collaborate with each other. It's wonderful for me to connect with a group of my peers. We have common challenges and work together to feel good. So far, I've participated in classes on nutrition, plants, and whole health planning. I joined walk groups and yoga. The personal coaching supports me in all these areas. I set goals and work towards achieving them. I get the tools and guidance to maintain and improve my mental and my physical health. My recovery is challenging, especially in the face of a crisis. I continue to learn how to be resilient, and I gain more experience bouncing back. I try to remember that I've overcome challenges before, and I can again. I manage my mental health symptoms as best I can. Self-awareness, along with professional support and education, help me live a healthier life.
Next, we will hear from Charlie, who will share what he calls his journey through recovery.
I'm Charlie, and I'm here to talk for just a few minutes about my journey through recovery. I grew up in a pretty basic household, I guess. There was good and bad in everything. But somewhere along the line, I did not develop the skills for living life on life's terms. And I didn't know what to do with that. I knew I was different from junior high school on through. I thought that if I worked hard, followed the rules, that I would be a success in life. And every time something didn't work out, I was rejected or anything like that, I didn't know what to do with all those emotions that welled up, you know. To be honest, I've discovered I was gay when I was in junior high school. It was a secret that had to be kept, even from my parents. I felt like I couldn't fulfill the role I was supposed to as a hard worker with a wife and kids and putting them through college and then retiring to do whatever. I didn't fit that mold, and I didn't know how to deal with that, so it started really young. I went through long periods of feeling good, and then long periods of being very depressed and anxious. All this went totally undiagnosed. You know, I hid it really well. I learned how to hide the biggest secret in the world as far as I was concerned. And once I got out of the house, it was, I felt like I can live my life, you know. I'm going to break a few rules here and try some different things, because at home everything was very strict and ordered. I was going to break out of that mold, and I started experimenting with some drugs. And I found that, boy, all those difficulties were easier to handle. So it just progressed. I tried to do my best. I did get married. I had a son. When my wife realized that I was just crazy, she quickly divorced me. Things got worse, so I used more drugs and alcohol to try and soothe the emotions, you know, the things I couldn't deal with. That didn't work out so well, because I started using more and more. I found more and more things that I didn't agree with, that I didn't know how to handle. I ended up losing my wife, my house, several apartments, a couple of cars along the way. But I thought, if I just do things right, I'll be okay. People were trying to tell me I had problems with substances, and I wasn't listening. I wasn't hearing it, because I didn't think there was anything wrong with me. I thought it was wrong. Everything was wrong with them. I eventually ended up living on the streets, and that just, I got to the point I didn't care. I just didn't care what happened to me anymore. It took me a long time to find the right place. Lots of people tried to help me along the way, and my behavior just, I hurt them in some way. In one way or another, I hurt them and myself. It did not work out. I was kicked out of a lot of houses that I'd been borrowing their couch and things like that. I kind of got it together for a little while, got a good job. I had always worked hard and made good grades, but I didn't try anything that I might fail at, because I couldn't deal with it if I didn't, and I knew that. But, you know, I went into healthcare. I was doing well, but things just piled up on me, and I turned to more drugs and alcohol. Well, that ended that medical career real quick, because you can't show up to work smelling of alcohol and looking like you haven't eaten in 3 days, which I probably hadn't and probably did. So I made geographic moves, cures, they didn't work. I went to Los Angeles for a while, it didn't work. I finally landed in Virginia with a friend, and that's when it all came to a head, and I ended up in detox here in Arlington, and I went through the Phoenix House, did okay for a year, and then it all fell apart again. But while I was there, I was introduced to behavioral health at Arlington County, and I had some good counselors, and they helped me pull myself up a little bit and regain some self-esteem. Then they realized that I had a bipolar disorder, and that just really did it. So when I started on my medication, it helped tremendously. The drugs and alcohol just kind of dropped away with counseling and 12-step programs. And now I've retired. I never got a job in medical again. I went to retail and did that, but now I can say that I have been substance-free for 10 years, and life has just gotten better all the way along. My thinking is clearer. I think the meds help with that, because I've tried to go off of them a time or two, and that didn't work out so well. People started telling me that I was crazy and having weird thoughts, and so I'd go back on them. And now I've decided that's probably the best course for the rest of my life. But just working a program has given me self-esteem. I went through some certification classes trying to get better, and then I decided that's the end of it. When COVID hit, I said, I'm just going to retire. And I've got all sorts of outside interests now that keep me sane on a day-to-day basis. But it was not easy getting here. It took me a long, long time, with lots of people along the way trying to urge me and help me. I was in so many treatments and detoxes that I can't remember all of them. Scrambled so many brain cells that my timeline on when things happened is totally skewed. But I'm okay with that, because it took all those things to get me to where I am now. And I feel very blessed and very fortunate and extremely grateful.
We will now hear from Linda, who will share what she titled First Graduate of Arlington County Behavioral Health Docket.
My name is Linda Griffin Mensa, and I'm the first to graduate from the Arlington County Behavioral Health Docket. There are 4 phases in the Arlington Behavioral Health Docket. Each phase has a number of hours which must be completed by each student, and the teams approve these hours. Docket helps to identify individuals experiencing mental illness, developmental disability, or dual diagnosis symptoms who become involved in the criminal justice system. The goal is to quickly identify those individuals for referral and eligibility screening for participation in the behavioral health docket. The journey has been and continues to be a learning and gaining knowledge experience. After speaking with my attorney, filling out the paperwork, I was praying I would be accepted in the behavioral health docket program. I spoke with Ms. Courtney Noble, behavioral health docket, mental health clinician, and letting her know I really needed the behavioral health docket program because my reaction to decision-making processes were not getting me the correct result I wanted. And this is how I was arrested. She explained to me that I would have to come to court and I would get my final decision whether I would be accepted in the program. I was arrested July 9, 2020 on a Class U felony and Class 1 misdemeanor, booked and placed in the Arlington County Detention Facility. On July 10, I had a court appearance which did not go well. Court was rescheduled for July 14, 2020, and I was released from the Arlington County Detention Facility, scheduled to meet at 2 p.m. with the Arlington County Department of Mental Health Services. I scheduled a telephone therapist interview and answered several questions about myself. Then I received my behavioral health docket initial treatment plan from Ms. Kelly Neiman, behavioral health docket coordinator. Every week thereafter, Ms. Neiman sent via email our schedule. My reaction to making decisions have always been fast and quick. However, I have learned that even though I make quick decisions, I must slow down, pump my brakes, and ask myself, what will this decision look like 2 through 5 minutes from now? Stress has always been a part of my life, and as we all know, mindfulness must be incorporated to release stress. The behavioral health docket requirements and team members have impacted my life by refreshing my life skills and equipped me with slowing down my decision-making processes. Also, own personal responsibility. I have been educated on Wellness Recovery Action Plan, WRAP. WRAP is a personalized wellness and recovery system born out of and rooted in the principle of self-determination. I was also educated on whole health action management. The primary goal of the WHAM training is to teach skills to support peers to better self-manage chronic physical health conditions and behavior health challenges to achieve whole health. Both RAP and WHAM are tools that are helping me to get well and stay well. My hope and dream for the future are to continue to understand as I go through major life changes, I have to do my own self-advocacy, which means have goals, get my facts about those goals, plan those goals, have a strategy, make my decision, which are sound, take action, be firm and calm. Also knowing that mental illness is not a label I wear, it is a process.
Next, we will hear from Kevin, who is a staff member at the Behavioral Healthcare Division. His title is Peer Support Specialist.
Hello, my name is Kevin Early. I'm a peer support specialist with Arlington County. When I was 21 years old, I was diagnosed with a serious mental health condition. About a year after that, I got in trouble when I had a psychotic delusion. I broke into a stranger's house and I destroyed some property, and I was apprehended by the police. After this happened, I was referred to a program in Fairfax County called Jail Diversion. Jail Diversion is a program that helps people with serious mental illness who come in contact with the criminal justice system and helps them in their recovery process. So Jail Diversion program helped me get psychotherapy, helped me get medication, helped me get employment, helped me get stable housing. It was very pivotal in my recovery. About a year or so after I graduated from the Jail Diversion program, I was approached by a member of the team to work for the Jail Diversion program as a peer support specialist. Now, I was very concerned because in the past, my criminal background and my mental health condition had been very detrimental to me securing employment, and I was afraid that because of these things in my past I would not be able to work as a peer support specialist. But I was told that they wanted me because I had a criminal background, because I had a mental health condition. Those were assets in this regard. So I was very happy that they looked at those things as experiences that could be learned from instead of as bad things in my past. So they hired me to be a peer support specialist, which is somebody who works with a treatment team to help offer services to individuals with serious mental illness. I work alongside the clients that I serve. I'm not in a position above them. I work alongside them as a peer, somebody who has had similar lived experience to what they may have gone through and can offer what insight I have into recovery to help them in their recovery process. So I really love my job as an opportunity to give back, to help people, to share what wisdom I have accumulated in my own recovery, and we meet people where they are at. So if somebody is going through a messy or tumultuous recovery process, we don't judge them, we don't condemn them, we don't look down upon them, we don't project onto them what we hope they would do. We just meet them where they're at, we listen to them, we are empathetic towards them, and we hope that they can recover in a positive manner. And if they don't, that's okay too, but we're there with them through every step of the process as a peer, to be there with them and share space with them and listen to them and be empathetic. So if you see me out in the streets of Arlington, say hello. My name is Kevin. I love to interact with people, and hopefully if you're going through the recovery process, hopefully there's some light at the end of the tunnel, and hopefully some of the things I said can help you in your own recovery so that you can be the best version of yourself that is possible. Thank you.
We will now hear from Farouk, who is going to share Farouk's mental health journey.
Hello, my name is Farouk. I was born and raised here in Arlington and attended George Mason University, where I pursued my undergrad in Information Systems and Operations Management. Today I'm here to tell you about my journey dealing with mental illness and how I've been able to live a normal life. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder when I was 19. Being the first American in my family and the first to be diagnosed as well was a very difficult time in my life. Prior to being diagnosed, I was a banker during my freshman semester at George Mason. My parents withdrew me from college and decided to end my career as a banker because they had no clue what I was going through. My parents decided hospitalization was the perfect course of action. After consulting with many doctors and therapists, I did somewhat stabilize. I had to be honest with my psychiatrist, how I felt, and so I can get the right meds to control my hypomanic and manic episodes. Once I was stabilized, I found meaningful employment and I enrolled back in college. Sadly, after a few years of working and attending college, I relapsed. My parents admitted me to a state mental facility so I can stabilize. My support system and I worked on different types of psychoactive meds. Some meds were good and some were horrible. Long story short, I've been pretty stable for the past 5 years after numerous doctor visits, hospitalizations, and therapy sessions. I feel like I can see the colors outside instead of dark clouds. I feel like I'm on the right meds, and I am thankful for my parents for making the right decisions for hospitalization. I am thankful for my current support system. I have met so many nice people at the mental hospitals who are also recovering in their journey. My advice to people who are newly diagnosed, don't give up. Have hope and be around positive people. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Stay strong and be honest with your mental health staff members. Your life matters. Thank you.
And last, but certainly not least, we have 3 gentlemen, Jermaine, Justin, and Horace, who are part of the Addiction Corrections Treatment, or ACT unit in the Arlington County Detention Center. The ACT program is a 9-month intensive treatment program for incarcerated adults with emphasis on addiction and substances and ways to cope. The program provides treatment that is both holistic and comprehensive. While in this program, clients work on changing themselves from the inside out, learning how to rebuild their lives in order to re-enter society stronger than they left. Together, Jermaine, Justin, and Horace will share their view of recovery, and then they will individually share parts of their stories. They have titled this, Breaking the Chain.
Good afternoon, my name is Jermaine Hinton, and I'm an addict.
I'm a person in recovery from addiction and mental illness. My name is Justin.
Greetings, my name is Horace, living in recovery and mental health challenges. And this is what recovery means to us.
Relentless,
Hope,
Family,
survival,
strength,
happiness,
education,
regain,
prayer,
rehabilitation,
transformation,
acceptance,
motivation,
life,
hope,
restore,
self-care,
knowledge,
change,
understanding,
children,
growth,
earning respect,
serenity,
determination.
a new beginning.
community.
Now that's what recovery meant to us. This is what recovery means to me. Recovery means freedom. Freedom from addiction, self-bondage, self-hate, and self-hurt. Also, overcoming. Overcoming different obstacles in our life and not giving up. Overcoming drug addiction, alcoholism, mental health, depression, death, all kinds of trauma, and still being able to maintain and live life on life terms. As a black man, 43 years young, there's so much I'm recovering from. Mental health issues, being shot, stabbed, physical abuse, mental abuse, racial issues, plus seeing a lot of violence at a young age, mixed with all type of feelings that I can't describe. Sometimes I feel like I'm going crazy. But this 31 months has not only been a recovery process, but also a learning and healing process as well. I've learned my triggers, why I use, why it's important to go to meetings, why it's important to have sponsors, and most importantly, learn how to love myself again. The healing process. My body has had a lot of time to heal. I picked up a few pounds, skin got a little better. Been working out, trying to get my wellness on. Plus now my mind has time to heal. My thoughts is cleared up. I have more positive thoughts now. I'm starting to think about the future. I'm dreaming again, things I want to do, places I want to go, businesses I want to start. A big part of recovery is ending the cycle. And coming from 4 generations of addiction and having a kid myself, ending the cycle is very important for me and my family. My great-grandmother and great-grandfather, my grandmother, my mother, my father, and myself all suffer from drug addiction problems. One of my daughters was born addicted to heroin. So ending the cycle is very important to me. Plus, I don't want to die a user. So some of the ways I'm trying to end the cycle are by me being in treatment, working on myself and my addiction, working on my mental health issues, participating in every class here at the jail, working through and finishing MRT, completing anger management, a light business class, parenting fatherhood, completing MBCT. I also have certificates of achievement through OAR from classes they bring at the jail, such as healthy relationships, ethics course, addiction awareness, social justice, wellness groups, reentry readiness, employment readiness. I'm also the first person to be part of the ACT unit and work in the kitchen full time, where I have received my Safe Serve Manager Certificate, Food Manager Certificate, Basic Kitchen Certification, and I mentor new inmates. I'm working very hard to end the cycle, and I'm proud of myself today. Recovery is different for everyone. No one recovery looks the same, but this is how recovery looks to me. I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to share with you what recovery means to me. I'm going to close with something I heard in the NAA meetings that holds so true to me. Recover and live, or use and die. Thanks for letting me share.
Hello. Recovery to me is a life without the strongholds of addiction, understanding my mental health. I'm 33 years old, and I've fought addiction for about 17 years. And really only understanding and willing to fight for it for about 5. Recovery to me is hope, strength, a new beginning that hits home for me because I grew up with a dad in and out of my life. I have a 5-year-old son, doesn't even know who I am. I have a daughter who asks way too many questions, and the feeling of that, of shame and guilt, holding on to those kinds of things, and it's just not a good path. I run from life instead of dealing with it. Being a part of the ACT unit now for almost 2 years, I've begun to understand my addiction, understand my mental health, and have worked on a whole lot to overcome that. And it's never fully overcome, but I learned to manage. I've learned to identify triggers and how to cope and advocate for myself when I really need to, instead of just holding stuff in. That being said, I am still participating in the ACT unit, still learning myself. The opportunities given to me being, for example, the first participant in Arlington County Jail under the ACT unit as a full-time college student who is studying criminology and criminal justice, and also hoping to move to a 4-year college and take law once I'm out and released and things are good. So recovery is just a journey. It's life, and life is what we make it. So thanks for letting me share.
Hi, my name is Horace. Living in addiction and mental health challenges. By the grace of God, I sit here today only through His mercy. Born Alexandria, Virginia, attended T.C. Williams High School, remember the Titans, Washington Technical Institute, and Northern Virginia Community College. As a direct result to my drug use, in which is cocaine and heroin, I've found myself in and out of the hospital, institution, programs, jails, and prisons. Can remember the last time I was en route to being transferred to prison. I had a vision, a premonition, and asking myself, why am I being transferred to a prison instead of mental health institute? Selling and using drugs while repeating the same behavior and expecting different results. Continue to subject myself to living in abnormal prison conditions. Why? Because I need to surrender to win. The last time I checked, the disease is undefeated and so cunning and baffling. It does not discriminate. In 1995, I experienced my real-life contact with mental health. It was Easter Sunday, and I was in my room watching NFL football. My sister came to my room and asked me, what did I do with her Easter dress? I stated that I had not seen her dress. She then produced a butcher knife and stabbed me 3 times. I knew only that she was experiencing mental health challenges and taking medications, but that was the extent of my knowledge regarding the matter. It was so ironic because I was working for Alexander Mental Health, the New Hope Foundation, as a secretary. This was also my first experience with trauma, in which I now feel could result into PTSD. Could I have spoken to someone regarding how this incident made me feel? I continued to medicate my feelings by using illicit drugs. Did the mental health system fail to recognize my needs? Or am I a casualty of mass incarceration, and which is so woven into the fabric of the criminal justice system? Today, tomorrow, and for the rest of my life, I want to be a beacon of hope. A process of change through which individuals improve their health and wellness, live a self-directed life, and strive to reach their full potential. Today I am so excited, yet very humbled to have been chosen to participate in the first certification training program to become a peer recovery specialist. I am scheduled to complete this training within a few months. I have been incarcerated here for 41 months and scheduled to be released in at least 3 months now. We'd like to thank Arlington County Adult Detention Center, CRU program, DHS, and the ACT Drug program for providing me with this platform and opportunity to share my experiences, strengths, and hope, and which gives me a sense of hope. Thank you.
And with that, we have a great way of closing. Who brought us here?
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Thanks for letting us share.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much for taking the time to view our special event. A big thank you to all of our presenters and the hard work they put into sharing their recovery journeys in order to educate the community about recovery. And this presentation would not have been possible without Arlington County TV, including producer Peter Hill. Thank you so much. I hope you have been inspired this evening and you have seen some great examples of recovery.